Hi Stampers, it's Pat Fairless with Fairless Stamp and Flair, and I'm here today with Connect to Create to share with you some tips on watercoloring with pencils. Connect to Create is a collaboration between Kathy Ondas, a fellow demonstrator, and myself. Her blog is Simply Cards by Kathy, and if you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. So today, like I said, we're going to do watercoloring with pencils. And if you've been watching us the last month July was Global Watercoloring Month. And so we shared several different techniques for watercoloring. And we hadn't yet gotten to the pencils. So even though I do realize it is August and no longer Global Watercoloring Month, I'm going to share with you some watercoloring tips on coloring with the pencils. And they're probably one of the easier techniques. We all colored with crayons as kids, and these are a lot like coloring with crayons. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the set I'm going to use today is called Season of Chic. I don't know if you've seen this in the current annual catalog, but it has a lot of different stamps. And as you can see, there's something for every season, really. There's flowers, there's seashells, there's fall for autumn, snowflakes for winter. But what I'm going to color for you today, I'm going to do both one of the seashells and the flowers. And the seashell is just a very simple item to color. So we're going to do that first. And I am using shimmery white paper. And StazOn ink. Anytime you want to use watercolor, it's best to use StazOn ink because it does not bleed with the water. Now today I'm not actually going to be using a lot of water, but I am using StazOn just to be safe. And rather than black StazOn today, I'm actually using our brown StazOn. I just wanted it to be a little less stark, I guess, which you sometimes can get with black. So what I should do is use my pad here. Sometimes you can get a little bit better image if you use a the stamp pad, especially with photopolymer stamps. With cling stamps, it's not really necessary, but with photopolymers, it's helpful. So, oh, sorry, what I said, I'm just going to stamp both of them. I'll get my stamping out of the way first so I can put my ink pad away and don't have to worry about laying my arm in it or something, which I'm usually pretty good at managing to do, or laying something else in it that shouldn't be in it. So this one's a little bit better than that one. Now with StazOn, I do like to clean my stamp pads fairly quickly if I can. So we have StazOn cleaner and I just kind of rub it with that. And then I use my stamp and scrub pad. So let me get the flower one and clean that quickly here for you too. It's still going to stain. There's nothing really much you can do about that, but at least it gets the worst of it off the stamp pad. You don't have to worry about transferring it by mistake to something else. So like I said, let's go ahead and do the seashell ones first, and I'll just do this one that turned out. Let's actually do the lighter one because the lighter one may actually look a little bit better. I was going for a softer image, so let's go ahead and use that. And with our watercolor pencils, I should show you this. There are two different assortments. There's an assortment 1 and an assortment 2, and they're the same pencils. They just have different colors. So if you were to get both of them, you'd have a total of 23 different colors, which is really sufficient. The nice thing is you can kind of mix and blend with colors. So these are the watercolor pencils, and we can use various mediums to color with them. We can use a blender pen to blend the color once you lay the color on the cardstock, or you can use your water painters. And today I'm actually going to use my Wink of Stella. And we'll talk a little bit about that after I get my coloring done. But this is Calypso Coral, and you don't really have to be very careful at all with this. You just kind of want to lay down some color. Obviously, the darker you make it, the darker it's going to be. And I'm just going to kind of color the bottom and not go all the way to the top. And I'll show you why. So there's only one color on this particular seashell. Obviously, you could do multiple colors. But I'm going to use my Wink of Stella to paint this. And what it does is it just kind of smooths out the color. So it gets rid of the pencil lines. And then you can see I can also pull the color out and blend it towards the edges. Okay. And that provides some shading. Now you might be wondering, is this going to ruin my Wink of Stella? Am I going to get color on my Wink of Stella? So every once in a while you just want to scribble on your paper. Get rid of that, don't really need that. And clean your brush off. And that's more important for sure at the end when you want to get your brush clean. Similar to what you would do with a blender pen, just scribble it on your scrap paper. Now, I'm not sure how well this shows up here, but this really, I am on shimmery white paper, which starts off with shimmer, but using the Wink of Stella, this thing really in person has a lot of shine to it. And I don't know that you can really see that or how well you can see that. Maybe that gives you a little bit better idea of how much that shines with the Wink of Stella. But I thought it was really pretty. So doesn't get much easier than that, does it? And I will show you a card that I made using the seashells. And I did the other one with, I think it was Coastal Cabana, is this one here. And again, this is from the Season of Chic stamp set and the suite. This paper is from that suite. These strips on here are from the distressed gold specialty paper. So that's my card that I made with a couple of seashells. I added a simple strip of the designer paper on the inside and of course covered the flap. So no empty or naked envelopes are inside. Now the other one I want to show you, and this may be a little bit more interest, I am going to use Coastal Cabana and Daffodil Delight watercolor pencils. And I'm just, because I want to do some shading. So I'm going to put some Daffodil Delight in the center of my flower. And I'm putting this on pretty dark. You'll see that my pencils are kind of dull at the ends. I sort of like them dull. It seems like I can get the color better. Otherwise I get a lot of lines. And then I'm just going to put a little bit out from that. And that will create the center of my flower. Now for the outside, I am just going to put this Coastal Cabana around the edges. And I'm just kind of swirling it on. You can see now the other option is you can just color with these and don't do any watercoloring at all. That's perfectly fine too. And it actually looks fairly nice when you're done. But using either some form of either a water painter or a blender pen or in my case, I'm using to add some shimmer. It just kind of smooths out your colors. So you're probably looking at that and thinking, well, she's got an awful lot of white on there. That doesn't look that good. So what I want to show you is I'm going to start from the center and I'm going to pull the yellow out towards the Coastal Cabana. Pull, push, wherever you are on the stamp. And now here's where I want to scribble and get rid of that yellow that's on there. Because now I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to pull it in towards the yellow. And you can overlap and blend them in the middle. Sometimes you have to swirl your Wink of Stella a little bit to get it a little wetter so it helps it to move. If you're seeing too many pencil marks, just add some more liquid and pull in. I can get lost in coloring. I love to color. And sometimes I just keep playing and playing and playing after I should just quit and call it good. But I want to give you the ideas. You can see that, you know, I have to go over this a few times to get it wet enough to be able to pull it in. And then, because I want to try to get rid of, like you can see the line where I stopped. I want to get rid of that. I want it to look like it's blended right into the yellow or the Daffodil Delight. I don't want to see that line anymore, so I'll just keep pulling in until, and you can leave it as dark or as light as you want. Can you see how that's starting to look more blended? And then if you want, make sure it's clean. You can go back and pull yellow back out across that again to do a little bit more blending. Put my hands out of the way so my hand's not blocking all this. There. And for my card, that I'll show you in a second, I did both the blue Coastal Cabana with the Daffodil Delight, and I also did one with Calypso Coral. And you'll see, I'll show you in a second here. I think that's pretty good. What do you think? And again, I'm not sure how much you can see of the shimmer, but in real life, it really does have a lot of shimmer. Clean this off one good time here. And then here's my finished card. Again, it's using the same designer series paper from that suite, the Season of Chic suite. And here I have the flower like I just colored it with Daffodil Delight and Coastal Cabana on the outside. On the inside of this next one, I have Calypso Coral rather than the Daffodil Delight. And then this one, I put the Coastal Cabana in the center and the Calypso Coral on the outside and just kind of blended them together. So I was happy with it, how it turned out. If you have any questions or comments, put a note down in whatever medium you're watching on, whether you're on YouTube, leave us a comment, or if you're on my Facebook page, leave us a comment, and we will definitely get back and answer those. So let me switch back here a minute. And again, I just want to thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. That's our goal, is to make sure that you get a tip that maybe you hadn't realized before. If you haven't tried coloring with the Wink of Stella brushes, you can give that a try. Like I said, I was worried that it might damage my Wink of Stella brush, but it has not. As long as I scribble when I'm done, it cleans it right up, and it's been no problem at all. So I hope you enjoyed that. And Kathy will be back next week with another new technique. I believe she's going to do emboss resist. So you're not going to want to miss that one. That's always a great fun technique. So have a great day, and we'll hope to see